Hey, we're going to get started right now. I'm very excited. 3, 2, 1, and go. And welcome to the show, everybody. The mic is on, the camera's on, everything's working. It's crazy. It's almost like the afternoon show has a level of professionalism that the morning show sometimes, frankly, does not. Those of you that enjoyed 10 minutes of silence, mindfulness, this morning as I made like a Buster Keaton film, yammered on thinking you could hear me. And yet you couldn't. We'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But hey, you know, sometimes silence is golden, especially when it comes from people that oftentimes perhaps even have, I don't know, golden hair. You know what I mean? Sometimes those folks, the silence, you don't really realize how much you enjoy silence until you realized it can be filled with the yammerings of someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know what I mean? The next time you're feeling kind of lonely and it's quiet around the house, nobody's there, and you might be having your own version of empty nest going on, whatever your situation may be, think to yourself, well, at the very least, I don't have this cretin yammering in my ear holes. See what I mean? Look for the silver lining in every possibility. Welcome to the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way that you can. And if you can't, don't worry about it. And if you're a troll, thank you for being here. You found it. You found the motherlode. You found the easiest trolling job you'll ever have, because you can, like, when your boss walks by at trollfactory.com, just pretend to be, just enjoy the show and write stuff like, I disagree with what you believe. And nobody will be the wiser. It'll be fine. Whatever. Just don't use any awful racial epithets or post any links to, you know, the kind of stuff your boss likes, and you'll be fine. You know what I mean? You can hide out here. Take a break. It must be hard these days for a professional troll, I would think. She would know. What did we do to deserve MTG? We didn't, Debbie. I would like to remind you also, you don't, I mean, maybe you do. I take it back. Debbie, do you live in Georgia? Anybody live in Georgia in her district in the chat room? I don't think so. I don't get that feeling. It's possible. Anybody? If you don't worry about it. Don't take on the weight of Marjorie Taylor Greene's existence. There's a lot of representatives out there, and she ain't yours. So this one's fun in particular because apparently they're having a real issue getting people to show up to vote this time around. Stop. Does it say save? Yeah, Save America / Stop Communism. You could do it in one fell swoop. You could do it. I mean, most of us could do it by creating a market-based ideology that's based on fair democratic principles that compensates for some of the failings of society that oftentimes people who believe in communists are trying to create because they see this gap and they would like to solve it. It's the only thing that they can come up with or whatever. But that takes too much work. Don't do that. Follow that guy around from a safe distance upwind. And then, of course, don't be afraid to use the American flag as a picnic basket, apparently. Beg your pardon, I mispronounced that. Picnic basket. This is after voting, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene took questions from the media. This is a must-watch interview. CBS 46 Rick Fulbaum plays the QAnon card, trying to paint Greene and her supporters as crazy. It's a must-watch interview from Voice of Rural America. It's got a full-on 74 views, people. This is next level. Will you settle? Hold on, I gotta move this here. Okay, there you go. I'm fascinated. She really gets asked the hard questions about QAnon. I'm excited. Let's do this. And by the way, whoever this dude, and she's given him, by the way, the same grin she gave the judge in the lawsuit the other day. That 1776, right over there. Yeah, everything that happened afterwards was a mistake, but they like that year. And of course, it's not just CBS. This Fox 11 channel, 11 Alive, is over here. They have some questions as well, or they're just listening. Let's see. Anyway, she's got her voter sticker on. She's got her hardcore supporters, who all of them look like they have a crawl space full of adopted kids. Especially this dude. What kind of creepy shit is going on up here? Look at this guy. I can't be on. I've got this violates the terms of my parole. Does she have an earbud in? Oh, not you mean like in hold on, suspicious user monitor. Hold on, I think I have to scroll through this. There was some talk that she had one. It might have been photoshopped in the court case. That's what they're referencing.
Thank you. Hi. So, talking to your constituents today.
Talking to your constituents today, that's trouble. Look at her face. Oh, don't talk to them. They're cuckoo pants. They don't have the messaging skills that I have.
What they seem to love most about you is that you're a fighter.
Which is idiotic because you're supposed to be a legislator. This is not a boxing match. This is there are, so far, I think in the last 150 years, a full-on 0 bills or elements of the budget that have been decided based on a physical altercation.
More a fighter than a lawmaker, but a fighter. What is that how you want to be seen?
Well, I think when Republicans take back the majority, we can actually talk about making laws. Right now, Democrats control Congress, and they choose which.
Well, no, you can actually make a law. It can't be cuckoo pants because they're not going to let it through. You know, there's lots of things I'm sure she could get done for her constituency in her district and through Georgia, but she can't afford to play nice with Democrats because she'll catch more shit that way. If they like you to be a fighter, you can't exactly work in tandem with anybody, or your most ardent. Look, he disappeared. The dude over there. Well, those folks will skedaddle.
Bills come to the floor. So I haven't really had that opportunity.
Well, I mean, granted, the only ones that you've actually written or proposed are, I think, impeaching Joe Biden and not defending Ukraine. I don't know what her actual bills are. Ashley Babbitt Day. What has she actually written up?
Yet no Republican has in this Congress right now.
Well, no, they co-sponsor bills all the time. Democrats and Republicans. I mean, there's almost every bill that comes through has bipartisan support. That's one of the ways it gets forward, even when, and this might shock you, Republicans are in charge.
Your district is different this time around than it was the first time you ran.
Yeah, more bugs.
It's more ethnically and racially diverse.
Are you just picking a fight, sir? Are you trying to make me angry? Mr. McGee, you would not like me when I'm angry.
Just like the state of Georgia is more diverse, just like the country is growing more diverse in how we look and how we pray and how all of those things. How does that make you feel?
Well, you know, I'm an American, and I believe that our country represents all Americans. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I don't play identity politics. To me, it doesn't matter what. She knows this dude's bad news, so she's just like, this is a corralling act, and she's got her people behind her. Skin color is, what religion you are, or if you're one at all. I don't think any of those things should matter. I think we should be doing things that help all Americans, and I know a strong economy, getting inflation under control, low gas prices.
Yeah, those are kind of the same things. And how would you do that?
A secure border.
And all those can happen if we can impeach Joe Biden, make Kamala Harris impeach Kamala Harris too, and then make Nancy Pelosi.
Lowering crime, and also protecting our kids from.
Yes, I mean, there's a danger that apparently most of the adults in some of these districts in Georgia are standing in fields while their children are running amok in the county.
Really immoral teachings, especially when it comes to taxpayer-funded education. I think those are the things that help all Americans, and it doesn't matter what identity they are or political party.
Speaking of kids, a new poll from The Economist that 52% of Republicans believe that top Democrats are involved in elite child sex trafficking. I don't know if any of you believe in that. Is that something that you believe in?
I think sex trafficking is horrible, don't you?
Do you believe that top Democrats are involved in elite child sex trafficking?
I certainly hope not, but
I think one thing we can all agree is that we should the allowance of in the inference that they are is definitely helpful.
I think any child sex trafficking is horrendous.
Okay, so why are you touring around the country with Matt Gaetz?
And it's something that we should hold anyone accountable to the full.
Anyone accountable to the fullest extent of the law. You dope up a 17-year-old girl in Florida and fly her to Georgia, you're on the actually. Let me rephrase that.
Extent of the law. So I don't think that's a pushback in any way.
I don't think that's a pushback in any way. What? Wait. What?
And it's something that we should hold.
Oh my God! Hang on a second. Was there an update at Rumble? I automatically just pushed my arrow back button that lets you go back 10 seconds on YouTube, and it jumped backwards. Watch. Oh shit!
Involved in elite child sex trafficking.
I certainly hope not, but I think any child sex trafficking is horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, any adult sex trafficking, it depends on what kind of trafficking we're talking about. I mean, are we talking about like a handy in traffic, or are we talking about taking someone against their will? I mean, there's so many
that we should hold anyone accountable to the fullest extent of the law. So I don't think that's a pushback in any way.
Well, it's one of the.
Also, that was gibberish. I don't think that's a pushback in any way. That's just gibberish. That was another phrase from another sentence from somewhere else that you just threw on the end.
Tenets of QAnon, which is, of course, this movement that you once called Q.
Oops. Why should you turn into them? What are you looking to them for? Is you checking to make sure nobody's wearing a shirt?
Patriot.
Does he have a Q patch? Is that a Q patch? Oh, no, that's just the Klan. It's fine. Never mind. I was making sure.
Wait, hold on. Have any of you heard me ever talk about QAnon?
Story of everything that's been going on. Have you guys been following 4chan, Q, any of that stuff? Anybody? It's a story that if you were actually to write this in a book, honestly, I probably would quit reading the book because it's so unbelievable. It's an anonymous person. All right, so Q is a patriot. We know that for sure.
No, you don't. All right, I'm going to start doing a fucking response to this bullshit now. Let's just assume this is all cuckoo pants. But yeah, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about QAnon.
It's not just Democrat and Republican, left and right.
No.
You can dive down in that Civil War into deeper levels.
You totally can. It's a multi-level marketing scheme. Think of it as like Tupperware, but with sections of your brain burped in it.
Where we have basically the deep state is fighting back against President Trump, the loyal people in his administration, and the American people. Okay? I mean, is it going
to... Okay. You don't have to tell me. I know.
Be true that the child pedophilia and the elites in the Washington, D.C., is that what we're really going to see come out? Is it true? Is the type of corruption...
I'm just asking questions.
...we're going to see come out, is it going to be satanic worship?
I mean, like, it's possible. I mean, how much... There's gotta be... How can there not be a lot of satanic worship? And I mean, it sounds so... I've only seen clips of Eyes Wide Shut, but it all sounds very fun.
That possibly all these people are involved in?
Have you seen, and I've asked Will this before, the picture...
Oh, hi. Thank you. My girl brought me a beverage. Thank you, my love. Can I trade you this? Can I give you this? Hold on, because I'm running out of space on my desk.
Of Ruth Bader Gingrich walking through the
Ruth Bader Gingrich? Oh my God. Human-animal hybrids are possible.
airport. This woman has been drawn over for how many years? And all of a sudden, she's walking straight up, right? Like it's a whole new person.
Almost like
Do
a
you
body double
believe
like
that
Hillary
is
Clinton.
Ruth?
It's like a body double like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Like that because they taking that adrenochrome.
body double for Hillary Clinton. So
Like that body double for Hillary Clinton. The body doubles for everybody. Everything, like 16 clones. The clones are so convincing that they commit the same crimes as the original one. So we have to guillotine the clones. We're making new ones just so we can kill them. They're that evil.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
So
That's the word I would use. It's that interesting. My goodness. Tell me more. It's fascinating.
I do not believe that was Ruth. No, I don't think so.
No, I don't believe those. I agree. You know what? This is the one area where I have to say I agree with MTG. I do not believe that was Ruth Bader Gingrich. As a matter of fact, I'm not even convinced there is a Ruth Bader Gingrich. I know. Stop it, Hal. You're talking crazy pants. But no.
There's possible satanic worship, and maybe that all these scary things that people talk about on what's
First of all, I would like to address a couple of issues. I don't know why I keep being brought up in this shit. Look, I was created by the Hebrew God as part of a kind of tug and pull on a universal level. I mean, I'm just a living embodiment of a negative fury necessary to the creation of a positive fury. This bullshit that I'm responsible for all the evil in the world is just dickish, honestly. I mean, it's bad enough I have to look like this shit, but supposedly I'm hanging out with Hillary Clinton now too, and I don't get to hang out with Marge? Fuck you. I've been to more parties with this lady than you've ever been to. Come on. What are they even talking about? I don't even know.
considered conspiracy
Yes, it's considered conspiracy facts. That's the only way I talk about it.
conspiracy sites and
Yeah, some conspiracy sites. I have a conspiracy site. It's like a second site, only it's 6. So I've got 6 sites of 6 different senses at 6 different times of the day. It's like a breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner snack, midnight snack.
conspiracy theories really may be true.
Yeah, I've never seen any evidence that myself. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a strictly kind of a physics dude, honestly. I mean, I still remember the day when I found out that Santa Claus was fake, and then ever since then I've never looked back.
But that's what Q has been telling everyone. We had witnessed
Hey, what? When did that shit start? I gave no permission for any Q person to start giving away the store. All right? Enough of this shit. Listen, not only is there no Santa Claus, sorry kids, there's no Q either. As a matter of fact, they were played by the same dude and they were both fired on the same day for getting a little handsy at the mall.
9/11.
I know what you're wondering. Why does the devil talk like an old villain from a 1930s comedy movie? Well, I don't rightly know. It's just when I first entered wide circulation into the public, and it's an accent that stuck.
11, right? We had witnessed 9/11.
Lots of people did. It was on television.
Terrorist attack in New York, and the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, and the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon.
Yes, the so-called plane. So, a lot of people, sometimes some people will call it by its flight number, and other people will go, that's a plane, and then, what the fuck are you looking at me like that for? I'm trying to explain to the people. Not everybody buys what you're selling, lady. Come on now, ease up. You don't look, by the way, I just feel like, and I gotta be completely honest, that Your profile on Bumble was a lot nicer than what I'm getting right here. And quite frankly, I brought up your picture right next to you, and you don't. I'm just disappointed. I'm just saying there's some filters going on, and I feel cheated. Personally, and far be it from me to say so, but it's a fucking sin. Catfishing is a sin, lady. If that is indeed your preferred pronoun.
It's odd. There's never any evidence shown for a plane.
Yeah, that is weird. Explosions will do that, though. And you know the best way I've found to make sure no evidence of something is ever found is just ignore it when it is. Huh?
In the Pentagon. But anyways, I won't.
Anyways, 9/11 was an inside job and it was all fake by a bunch of people. But anywho,
I'm not going to dive into the 9/11.
Thank God. I already had 99 reasons to lose my boner, and 9/11 ain't one.
Conspiracy.
I had 911 reasons.
Q is trying to tell people.
What? They're not going to get that bicycle for Christmas.
On these forums and 4chan, and he's trying to tell people the truth. And
oh, thank God. Somebody's got to tell them the truth. Do you mean the truth, or do you mean the truth?
He does it through questions.
Oh, I see. You know, I often tell the truth through questions, Marge. That's true. Questions like, what the fuck are you on about? And what the fuck did you just say? And what are you smoking? These are often, you can infer my opinions, the truth of what I'm saying, by the questions that I'm asking Large Marge.
Asking questions, and giving clues.
Mm-hmm. Ask questions, giving clues. Basically, it's a giant, like pseudo-religious, conspiratorial game of shit charades you play through a window of a neighbor's house till they close the drapes.
And so it's basically, you're going down the rabbit hole.
Basically. I've done that a couple of times. I'm ashamed to say it, but I'll say it anyways. And once you go down the rabbit hole, you won't go back. Just say it.
You're following the white rabbit, and
I am. Well, I wouldn't say that. If it goes down the rabbit hole, it doesn't stay white for long. I'm just telling you that right now. Ho ho!
Figuring it out. I've got a question for you.
All right, fire it up.
How do you get avid gun owners and people that support the Second Amendment to give up their guns and go along with anti-gun legislation?
I give up.
Maybe you accomplish that by performing a mass shooting into a crowd that is very likely to be conservative, very likely to vote Republican, very likely to be Trump supporters, very likely to be pro-Second Amendment.
Is this a punchline? Because so far, it's not funny. I know, hang out. Maybe it's a long, extended one. It's kind of a Norm Macdonald thing.
And very likely to own guns.
Ah.
Is that what happened in Las Vegas?
No, it's not. Also, that punchline sucked. I mean, I may not know comedy, but I know what I hate.
Is that why, the country music festival was targeted?
No, I believe it was because of country music.
I have a lot of questions about that.
Yes, questions, clues, questions. My questions, my clues, cluey class, clues. Question starts with a Q. Holy shit!
I believe Stephen Paddock was a lone wolf. I don't believe that he pulled this off all by...
Actually, he was a loner. He was hungry like the wolf, though.
By himself.
I have no evidence he was a Duran Duran fan. That was untoward.
They destabilized the Middle East.
Oh, I see. And it was doing so well for so long.
That's what happened, okay?
Okay. And who knew? I thought I was down there fucking around for thousands of years, making the whole place topsy-turvy with 3 versions of the Abrahamic faith, punching each other in the dick repeatedly and fighting for limited resources in a very sandy terrain. Little did I know, I had to wait until Obama came along.
So that happened.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
During Barack Obama's presidency.
Of course. Please whip out some cookies.
Okay, but let's keep going. Let's
keep going. Don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
keep talking about whatever happened. Yes, I do believe he is a Muslim. And yes, Valerie Jarrett is too. And she's a big issue too.
Well, of course she's a big issue. Obviously, I'm seeing a correlation here. I'm going with black, Muslim, Muslim and black, both bad. And these people are now twice as bad. It's bad enough, I guess, what you're saying, lady. It's bad enough they're black. It's bad enough they're Muslim. And I would like you to think they're both twice as bad.
According to Q. Now,
okay. As long as you've never heard of Q before. Now, let me go back to this 1 second. Let me clarify something. Hold on. What? Back up. What were you saying just before I got on this little tirade, ma'am? What was this?
This movement that you once called Q a patriot.
Wait, hold on. Have any of you heard me ever talk about QAnon? No. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on now.
That's I gotta say, that's fucking weird. Considering
I'm saying according to Q again.
Perhaps I'm gonna go with it's not their fault. They just got shitty coverage out in the sticks. You know, the one good thing about Joe Biden's infrastructure bill is it's going to get rural broadband everywhere. So these fuckers don't have to go out and stand in the middle of a field and find the only spot where they have no coverage. So if anybody asks them if they've ever seen a QAnon video, they have plausible deniability because they can't pull it up on their fucking phone. I love these people. They're geniuses. How'd they figure it out?
And I don't have any proof of this, but...
No, of course not. Why would you have any? Who the fuck needs proof, lady?
We're talking about who is Q, so I'm going to tell you what he says.
Oh, you don't know who he is, but you're sure it's a he. Presumptive. Did you ever ask Q what their pronouns might be? Or you just assume all heroes are male, like a good housewife?
According to him, many in our...
It. Let's just agree. Q is a letter, and letters are its. Like if somebody drew a big V on a tank, for example, you go, who put this there? You go, what? Which letter are you talking about? It's right here. What V? It's right here. You'd say it for the thing. You wouldn't go he to this letter.
Government or...
Although I'm all for the anthropomorphical, it's hard to say with rotten lips, anthropomorphication of letters. Namely O, Q, because it looks like it would tickle. Maybe U, that could be fun. V's, I don't know, kind of painful.
Or actively worshiping Satan.
Oh, well, la-di-fucking-da. Actively. Yeah, I'm sick of these passive ones. They're like the Christopher Cross of Satan worshipers. They're like the yacht rock of Satan worshiper. You can't sit back. You got to dive in.
Or they call Moloch. MS.
Oh. Somebody knows my real name. Only my friends call me that.
13, everyone. Under Obama came MS-13.
Oh, 13. MS, multiple sclerosis. And 13, of course, the number of Jesus and the apostles.
There's a lot to that. You have
Yeah, there is. Tell
to
us.
understand. They had very good relationships with
Oh, yes, they do.
MS-13. MS-13 was basically like...
Yeah, they're like, what are they? Toss that hair back. What are they? You know what? You should just bring the fan from this picture, and then you wouldn't have to do the hair flip thing.
They were kind of the henchmen.
Oh, I see. Henchmen. That's an underrated job. It's a growth industry these days. I have a couple of henchmen myself, you know, and it's hard to find good henchmen these days with this whole $15 minimum wage bullshit
Of the Obama administration.
Oh, I see. All right. I didn't realize that. No wonder these assholes didn't show up for work. They were moonlighting with the Obamas.
They did a lot of the dirty work.
Well, I should hope so. And you don't the cleaners come in after they've done the dirty work. You don't get guys like MS-13 to do the clean work.
Seth Rich. Seth Rich was murdered.
Oh, shit. We're going Seth Rich.
By 2 MS-13 gang members.
Huh. I didn't know MS-13 spoke Russian.
That's what I mean by dirty work.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean by dirty work, too.
Okay? There's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Well, I know.
To take this global cable of Satan worship.
Global cable. Believe me, I am able with the global cable.
Shipping pedophiles out. And I think we have the president to do.
And I don't want to be a dick here. Far be it from me to tell you how to follow a cult, start your own, and branch off and turn it into a political movement. But it's pronounced cabal, as in, these are my cabals, like that.
Do it. And so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't be? That sounds fun. La-da-da-da.
Hillary decides to launch her political career. It's time for her to enter because, she's being lined up. She's the next one in place.
Yes, all of my deepest worshipers live in a spiritual Pez dispenser. And then I go, and then I vomit them out into the body politic.
The deep state. They choose.
I'll show you some deep state. Am I right? I'm sorry. That was wrong of me, and I apologize.
Choose who their candidates are. They choose who they want to put in place. So she becomes senator in New York City. And yes, I could dive into Kennedy getting killed in the plane crash, because isn't it interesting that he had announced he was going to run for Senate just before he died in a mysterious plane crash?
Well, if he indeed did, I happen to believe he is running around in a rubber suit pretending to be Donald Trump, because what could be more fun than never having to complete a sentence ever again?
But anyway, so that's another one of those Clinton murders, right?
Yeah, just one of them. I mean, at this point, I honestly have lost track. And I'm the guy who invented death. Well, I didn't invent him. That's rude. I hired him. Gave him his start. He was an intern.
These are interesting things to look at. And
agree to disagree.
So I wanted to talk to you about them. I'm not presenting them that they're fact.
No, of course not, because that would take emotional, psychological, intellectual, and psychosexual fortitude, of which you have none. Granted, we get it.
But I am...
apparently... there's a dog on your leg?
Presenting them that I'm hoping they're facts.
Well, who doesn't? I mean, who doesn't hope? I mean, who doesn't lay awake at night hoping there's a Clinton body count? You know what I mean? I count dead Clinton victims like some people count sheep. A lot of times I forget who I was supposed to keep track of. Yeah. A lot of times just Vince Foster over and over and over again, because I can't remember the names of the other people. And it's weird because Marge is laying in bed right next to me. I could roll over and ask her, but I hate barfing on my own sheets. It's a natural reaction. Hi, I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. She calls forth Satan and he shows up. What do you expect?
You have called Q a patriot. I've seen the video
You've
of
seen me in Congress doing that?
Not in
Yeah, you've seen me in Congress doing that. I only do that as a whisper
You
campaign.
see me on the campaign trail?
No, just in a
okay,
video.
We've covered this a long time ago.
So
Would
you
like...
still denounce QAnon and all
I'm
of
waiting
those?
for you to ask me a real question. Are you guys wanting him to ask a real question?
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes, this is
Integrity.
This is not.
Integrity, says the lady. This is ask her a question about integrity. Don't ask her if she still stands by what she said and why she's using weasel language now. Ask her something that shows you have integrity. We don't give a fuck if she has integrity.
No, bring yourself to a professional level, okay? You got these are my supporters right here, and they're telling you right now they've never heard me talk about it. So why don't you ask?
Yeah, so they're lying too. So they lack integrity the same way you do?
A real question.
Okay. Remember what you said about pedophiles and all that kind of stuff? Why are you touring with Matt Gaetz? That's current. You just denounced that, and you just went on tour with that fucker.
ADL. I'm sure you're familiar with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. They have come out with a study last week that said that anti-Semitic incidents are up 133%.
That's terrible,
in the state
isn't
of
it?
Georgia.
Yes, that's awful.
In the state of Georgia.
It is awful. I just wonder, though, when you talk about Nazis in Ukraine, when you talk about Jewish financial institutions funding lasers that are used
I've never said that. Fires. You're lying right now. You're lying. Nope, you're lying. Stop right now.
No, I did not say they were funding them. I said it's Jewish scientists and the Nazis are funding the whole thing. And
no, until you can pull up my exact words. No.
All right, let's see. Do 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 do. Taylor. Whoops. Green. Jewish laser quote. Let's look at the emerging accuses. Okay, hold on. Here we go. This is the. Whoops! Get out of here! I'm not paying for this answer. I kind of blame Walmart on. Okay, here we go. This is New York Magazine. This will say. Oh, I'm not. Hold on. Green's views are a bit more controversial. Okay, most recent Green. Okay, here we go. Green suggested in a Facebook post that wildfires. Here you go. This is from 2018. There are now over 70 people confirmed and over Jesus Christ. Congratulations, Facebook trolls. You are cut from the same cloth as Marjorie Taylor Greene. Every time I get one of these diatribes on Facebook in the chat, I'm like, yep, that's how it works. Okay. I'm praying for all involved. I'm posting this in speculation because there are too many coincidences to ignore. And just putting it out here for some research I've done stemming from my curiosity over PG&E stocks, which tanked all last week, then rallied Thursday night after California official announced they would not let PG&E fail. I find it very interesting that Roger Kimmel on the board of directors of PG&E is also vice chairman of Rothschild Incorporated, international investment banking firm. I also find it interesting the long history of financial contributions that PG&E has made to Jerry Brown over the years and millions in lobbying. What a coincidence it must be that Governor Brown signed a bill in September 2018 protecting PG&E and allowing PG&E to pass off its cost of fire responsibility to its customers in rate hikes and through bonds. It also must just be a coincidence that the fires are burning in the same place projected areas that the $77 billion high-speed rail project is to be built, which also happens to be Governor Brown's pet project. And what are the odds that Feinstein's husband, Richard Bloom, is the contractor to the rail project? Geez, with that much money, we could build 3 U.S. southern border walls. Then, oddly, there are all these people who have said they saw what looked like lasers or blue beams of light causing the fires, and pictures and videos. I don't know anything about that, but I do find it really curious. PG&E's partnership with Solarin on space solar generators starting in 2009. They announced the launch into space in 2018 in March, and maybe even put them up before that. Space solar generators collect the sun's energy and then beam it back to Earth to a transmitter to convert to electricity. The idea is clean energy to replace coal and oil. If they are beaming the sun's energy back to Earth, I'm sure they would ever miss a transmitter receiving station. They wouldn't ever miss a transmitter receiving station, right? I mean, mistakes are never made when anything new is invented. What would that look like anyway? A laser beam or a light beam coming down to Earth? I guess, could that cause a fire? I don't know. I hope not. That wouldn't look so good for PG&E, Rothschild Incorporated, Solarin, or Jerry Brown, who just does seem fond of PG&E. Good thing for Solarin that Michael Peavy is on their board, since he's a former president of California Public Utilities Commission, California's most powerful energy regulatory agency. Great connections right there. Also, I will say, however, I was able to buy that PG&E stock at the bottom before the announcement was made. When stocks rally, sure did well over the investment. I wonder how you get privy to that kind of info. You must know somebody, right? Seems like there's a lot of connected people in this crowd with these space solar generators. I hope they really have a good aim beaming the sun's power down to Earth. But what do I know? I just like to read a lot. Solar Corporation to launch solar panels into orbit. And of course, the reason people like Jewish space lasers and what they're referencing is her bringing up both Feinstein's husband and the Rothschilds being behind this. What did I say? I said it's just funny that the Rothschilds are behind this solar company and they want to invest in this train, and that they've got stock in PG&E, and then they fire, even if it's not true, it doesn't matter, because whether they do or not, I get to say it. And then the wildfires happen in a curious area.
No, I am not contributing. I have one of the most, no, excuse me, I have one of the most pro-Israel voting records in Congress.
Yes, I'm one of them evangelicals that believes we got to get all the Jews back to Israel where they belong, so that when Jesus appears on Armageddon, he can roll down in there and cut all their heads off, and then we can usher in the rapture.
I have never in my life been anti-Semitic. And number three, you're lying about me right now. You don't even know what my real words are. You're going off of some fake news article.
I read your Facebook post.
Okay, read it. What does it say? What does it say? Okay, exactly. Then stop. Ask another real question.
Okay. I'll pull it up in a moment. But I know
we're out in the middle of a field, so her followers can't go, wait, you said that?
Look at the video. Like too much attention is being paid to the January 6th attack at the Capitol, but you yourself seem to have been pretty alarmed by it, telling Mark Meadows in a text.
Yes, I was shocked that it didn't work.
Please tell the president to calm people. This isn't the way to solve anything. So you knew how bad it was, and you thought that the president might be able to help.
I do not know if those are my text messages.
That's where's the integrity lady? Why isn't she clapping? I do not know. She doesn't even know if she said that. What's she supposed to know what she said?
That has not been confirmed.
Why don't you confirm it? Can you confirm it? Do you have your phone on you? Here's a good idea. Somebody near you has your fucking phone. Scroll back on it.
That's been well over, I don't know, what are we at, 16 months now?
Uh-huh.
I don't even have my text messages from then, so it
why not? Somebody does.
Has not been confirmed, so I do not know if those are my text messages.
You have.
But yes, I was upset that day. I'd worked very hard to object, which is legal and lawful, and the Democrats did the same thing in the past 3 Republican presidential elections.
Yeah, but they didn't coordinate with senators and stop it. And most of them were complaints about like the number of voting machines in certain areas, and that voters were denied their right to vote. And they felt very strongly about that. But none of them actually shut down the process, and nobody charged the fucking Capitol.
Democrats objected. That's the only thing I was interested in doing. You want to know something? I don't like violence. I don't like riots.
You don't like violence? The fuck are you talking about? She shot a fucking car with a 50 cal and blew it up in an ad.
I didn't like any of the Antifa BLM riots that burned and caused all this destruction.
Yeah. Target, our government. What's the difference?
$2 billion in damage in American cities, and I didn't like the riot at the Capitol on January 6th.
Yeah, but for different reasons. You didn't like the BLM riots because you saw them as successful in drawing attention to the death of George Floyd, for example, and you resented that. You didn't like the riots at the Capitol because you fucked up and it didn't work.
But you want to know something that I think is really sad and pathetic?
Yes. Matt Gaetz in a Speedo.
The same people in Congress that cheered on those riots, that said they...
I don't know that anybody cheered on the riots.
...would keep going and keep going with them. They
would keep going and keep going with them. I would Right now, you're lying on me, and I would like you to call up the words that you've seen.
Funded them on the Act Blue platform, the Democrat fund.
Yeah, they were getting people who were not violent out of jail, who were being scooped up in some of these states.
Raising platform and helped fund criminal rioters out of jail, are sitting there on a committee claiming that one riot that happened.
Look at these people. Right. One riot. Yeah, one riot that attacked our capital is somehow more special than civil unrest that we've had in our nation's history, especially over racial issues at different times that burned down Target stores.
Happened in Washington at the Capitol is the most important thing anyone should talk about when they've never apologized to the American people. And
they're not going to. I, for one, I'm sorry. I am not going to apologize for the American people. I'm not going to apologize that they exist. You might, but I happen to like my American fellow citizens, and I am not going to apologize for their existence, and I resent the idea that you would ask me to.
that makes all of us and people everywhere absolutely sick.
Right.
So
Well, I'm glad you're out in the field then. I would suggest some of you would wear a mask, except the dude with the beard, because, you know, then his mask will smell like soup.
I am not going to carry on. You know how many people have been arrested for January 6th? I think we're well over 800 people.
Right, and there were thousands of people there. That's dick. I think the number should go up, actually.
They have been arrested, they have been charged, and some of them are rotting in jail.
Well, I think that's more about diet and regular exercise. They give it. I mean, they're rotting in jail? Are they? So they've been dead for a long time
While they're awaiting pretrial.
So anybody who's in jail is rotting. So I mean, I guess we're all in a state of rot. You know what I mean? The day you're born, you start dying.
Just turn the page.
That's not what I'm saying. People have been arrested. They have been charged. They deserve their day in court.
They'll get it.
They deserve their due process rights.
They have it.
And you want to know something? I would like to see the Democrats come out and create a committee and say, we're going to investigate BLM and Antifa.
Well, they don't have to. The FBI is already doing that.
I would love to see that. If they wanted to actually say riots are bad altogether, why don't we declare...
Yes, altogether. I mean, all riots are created equal. I mean, a group of citizens... I mean, what's the difference between like a riot around something like George Floyd and a sports riot? You know what I mean? They're basically... Shit still gets destroyed. Who cares if the purpose is different? I mean, we're into... This is probably something she learned from Matt Gaetz. What's the difference between consensual and non-consensual sex? It's still sex, right? Right, Matt?
All of them are bad. Instead of focusing on one riot.
One riot that tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power in our fucking country.
That they are politically using. You know what? Democrats think riots are political tools for elections. And they...
Well, technically speaking, Republicans actually rioted to change the election. The people that are talking about the riot that you used to try and change the election aren't politicizing it. They are recognizing the politicization of the physical. Good fucking God.
They absolutely are not, because the riots of 2020 affected the American people, affected their communities, their cities.
Yeah, but it motivated them to vote either more for the ideas they believed or changed their mind, but that was still up to them. It didn't try to deny them the right to. The BLM and Antifa riots that did occur, if you're even going to call them that, none of them happened at voting places. None of them interfered with the right to vote. They didn't burn down fucking post offices so they couldn't get ballots to people. If anything, the riots themselves entrenched some of her voters, steeled their resolve in how they were going to vote.
Their towns, their businesses, and you know what? No one's ever paid with all that BLM donations for those businesses to be restored or all that damage to be fixed.
Well, it's because these weren't organized things by that group. But if you want to try and set up a situation where you are the arbiter, that if someone does something, you can align them with an organization you don't like because they seem to have overlapping political beliefs, and they are now responsible. So, like, let me give you an example. Your church reads from the same Bible as David Koresh. And David Koresh was guilty of allegedly of pedophilia and managed a cult that was storing arms and open fire on the FBI. So cogito ergo sum, your church is responsible for rebuilding parts of Waco and paying back the FBI for damages to vehicles because of gunfire. Why won't you do that?
Or the people that died, their families to be made whole. So
you can't make someone whole after they're dead.
So if we're going to talk about riots, let's be real and talk about all riots. Okay?
Yeah, all riots are created equal, okay? Just let's get this right. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm a laugh riot, and it's basically the same as January 6th.
Okay.
Okay. You have a beautiful family. I saw a picture of them on your website. I also
Where'd you find them?
know from your campaign that you have been the subject of threats, that there have been disgusting and vile voice messages that I've listened to that have been left for you. That must be terrible, and I just wonder if you think that maybe we could tone down the rhetoric on both sides. Everybody can.
Okay.
Is it time?
Look at that. He tries to both sides her. This is a bank shot, and she's like, okay, look. I don't have to stop calling for the murder of my political opponents just so people won't do that to me.
Okay, let's be real honest. You just brought up lies about me and conspiracy theories.
No, not at all. I mean, I brought it up on the show to back up what that dude's saying. He's not responsible for her pretending it doesn't exist because he doesn't want to bring it up on his phone during a mic interview, and she knows exactly what the fuck he's talking about.
Theories about me. And you're the one that broadcasts those crazy things to all kinds of people.
Well, no, it brings up he would broadcast your response to them, your denial, alongside the video of you actually doing that and going, yeah, she lied. So if you're going to vote for her, you're voting for a liar. This is Tom Costello for CBS Channel 9 News.
And it's when people that don't know me as a person.
Which is everyone.
They read the stuff that you say about me, that causes death threats and all kinds of possible.
Oh, it's his fault. I see. For asking you about shit you've said. That's dangerous. One of the worst things you can do to me is tell people what I've said and then ask me if I've said it, so I have to deny saying it, and then you show that I actually did say it, and now people go, not only is she vile and dangerous and stuff like that, but she's a liar too. Then what do I do?
Violence against me. So why don't you help in that process and not spread lies about me? That would help these death threats go away. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe the death threats are a lie. Maybe you tape those yourself. Maybe, can we do a voice check against some of these folks and make sure that those recorded messages aren't contrived to make you look like a victim? Because at this point, I was, up until this point, I was convinced that maybe, just maybe, some of that shit was real. And now I'm not so sure.
Well, understood. I'm going to find the Facebook post where you talked about Jewish financial, the Rothschild, Rothschild,
who I did not even know was Jewish. How about that?
So what does that say? How come you don't know these things?
Did you know Dianne Feinstein's husband was Jewish? Was the name a giveaway? I didn't even know the Rothschilds were Jews. I've never read into any of that stuff in all of my study of QAnon. Bullshit, lady.
Where do you get that information from when you talk about Rothschild?
Where
does that come from?
I don't even know. But what I go to definitelynotajew.com, and that's where I think I first heard about it there. And I was watching one of Roseanne's videos, who I did not know was a Jew either. And she was talking about another George Soros, who's not at all a super Jew. And
all I knew was they were a board member. I had no idea that they were even Jewish. Can you imagine that?
Yes, I can imagine you don't know a lot of things, but I don't believe you. I can imagine anything.
Well,
obviously you cannot. I mean, you clearly have your own conspiracy theories.
No,
You do. You have
were
your
tropes.
own. No, you are creating conspiracy theories about me. That is what you are doing with your, whoever, CBS 46. Yes, that's right. You're using your job to push your political views. And
Well, technically, he's just asking you about shit you've said.
push lies about me into the public instead of asking me.
Well, no, I mean, now he found out some good information. He asked some questions, right? He asked some questions, and he got a solid answer. Here's what we know about Marjorie Taylor Greene, that she's been studying QAnon and connections by the Rothschilds because she likes to read, according to her post. And from that, in all those readings, she never found out that they were Jewish. It just never came up.
Simple questions. You
And if it did, she just forgot.
phrase it and push these questions. And so, you know what? That's the problem we have in America, is when Democrat activists use their job and their media platform to twist lies about people like me.
Yeah, don't twist the lies. Just let the lies stand. Hers are fine.
And you know what? It happens on the other side too.
The other side. You mean the rhinos?
But I'm just saying,
By the way, when she says the other side, she means the rhinos. You know what I mean? It's like it's the deep state versus the rhinos.
it's wrong. If you want us to all get along better, don't do that.
But aren't you concerned then? I mean, maybe you didn't know about the Rothschild, but
No,
once you
here,
did,
wait,
once
excuse
you
me.
learned about it, weren't you like, oh my God, how did I say that? Weren't you embarrassed?
No,
for
I
having
was
said
more
that?
like, how in the world is the media so vicious that they're going to create these horrible headlines that get repeated by people like you?
Well, when you find out that the Rothschilds has been a Jewish conspiracy storyline, a punchline for anti-Semites forever, that's what he's asking you. How do you find that out? Does somebody go, by the way, Rothschilds is like a code word for anti-Jewish globalist conspiracy theories that paint like Jewish people as like puppet masters all over the world and responsible for like all the wars and shit like that. The stuff that Mel Gibson says when he's drunk off his ass and driving a car.
And I'm shocked that they keep spreading these lies about me. What do you guys think? Is
What do you guys think? Attack!
that ridiculous?
Are you any all Jews? I didn't even check.
Yeah, thank you, Marjorie. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie. The Rothschilds really are Jews. He should have interviewed all these people beforehand. Please tell me he did. Please cut to the end of this where he had done pre-interviews with these folks and like, the Rothschild Jew lasers, they're going to get us all.
Would you like to talk about anything else serious? Do you have anything serious to talk about?
Yeah, what's your tax plan?
I'm just curious.
I have a lot of serious things to talk about.
Okay, we'll try finding one.
I mean, this is a very serious election, and you're running for a serious office.
Yes, I care about our borders. I care about the national debt. I care about tax
Your borders with Alabama and Mississippi and Florida?
that you have to pay also. I care about inflation that affects your wallet. I care about our gas prices that also affect your wallet. I care about if you have children, I want them to be safe. I want them to have a good education.
And by safe, I mean not anywhere near trans people.
I think we probably have more in common and those type of serious things we can talk about than silly lies and conspiracy theories about me.
I asked you when we were talking with the business owner, whose name I can't think of off the top of my head, what you're able to do to try to fix some of these issues, the gas prices, the inflation.
Drill, baby, drill.
Your answer to me was that there really isn't anything that you can do right now.
Well, who is in charge of Congress? Can you tell me who's in
The idea is if you were in charge, dummy.
charge of Congress?
Democrats are in the
Absolutely. Everything that's happening right now are the Democrats. You want to know
So does
why?
that mean you can't be an effective lawmaker?
I am effective. There's over 500 bills on record that you can look up right now. You can look up how I voted. You can look up how Nancy Pelosi voted.
Well, yeah, you have to vote on them. You didn't write any, though.
You can look up
You can look up, like, who wrote them. It ain't me. There's over, like, 500 bills that I've done fuck all with.
anybody in Congress and see their vote, and it is on record because I dedicated my time and led the effort to call for those recorded votes. No one has done that, and that's not just for people here. Y'all can look up how I voted. Seriously.
Yeah, y'all know.
conservative. But you can also look at how other people vote, and you can see that anywhere you want. So that has been the most effective thing any Republican has done in Congress, and I've stopped bills by doing that. Felons cannot vote from prison because I called for recorded votes, and I think everybody's happy about that because that shouldn't be happening anyways.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Congressman.
So people who are rotting in jail right now can't vote, is that what you're saying?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. A quick question.
A follow-up question is something I heard earlier about, you were talking about the riots and holding Black Lives Matter accountable and the other groups. Do you see with the insurrection, which I know you called a riot as well, do you see any differences between those if you could categorize them as the same thing?
The riots all over the country?
So the riots all over the country.
No, I see them differently.
Okay.
Here's the difference. The riots all over the country were organized, and they were continuous, and they were day after day after day. There were leaders. There was funding. People bailed them out of jail. There was attorneys assigned. Minnesota Freedom Fund is an excellent place to look. There was a coordination of the press to call them mostly peaceful protests.
It was a coordination. It was like a war room. It was at the Willard Hotel. Rudy Giuliani, I think, was in on that.
Yes, no, that was organized. The riot at the Capitol, I have no idea. I don't think it was an insurrection.
I don't think so. I mean,
I don't know what it was.
Well, it certainly wasn't a coup. It might have been an attempted one. It was a failed coup. It was a failed insurrection.
I was inside the House chamber when it happened, and I was...
Yeah, we know. Delaying things until the cavalry could arrive.
I was just as shocked as probably anyone watching the television or seeing
Yeah, I was just as shocked that it didn't work. Fuck me.
it happen. So, yeah, I do think they were different.
I do think they were different. Those seemed effective in change because there were like bills passed about police brutality and violence, and the insurrection just got me in a lot of fucking trouble and dragged me down.
I found your post.
Okay.
It's right here.
All right.
Anybody who wants to look at it.
Yeah. What year is that?
This is 2018, the date of November
Right.
17th, 2018.
Yeah. Ancient fucking history, 2018.
You're killing.
I mean, what was I? Gosh, I must have been 9.
I don't care. 20. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This was your post under your name.
What's the source? Her Facebook post, dummy.
Yeah.
Does that dude literally say, what's the source? Hold on. Back the fuck up. Watch
Found
this
your
dude.
post.
Okay.
Right here.
All right.
Anybody who wants to look at it.
Yeah. What year is that?
This is 2018, the date of November
Right.
17th,
Boy,
2018.
you're killing it. 20. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This was your post under your name,
Yeah.
and you're talking about
What's the source of that? She wrote it.
the Rothschild family, which has been at the center of anti-Semitic conspiracies
I did
since
not
the
know that.
19th century.
I have no idea. I'm telling you, I very
Well, now you know, lady.
much. What is this? 20 what?
2018.
Yeah, I mean, that was, she was fresh out of college. You say a lot of crazy things. You know, you get a gin fizz in you, you got a little sunburn.
Okay.
You just start typing with your thumbs, and I don't know, we were playing like spin the blame somebody, and it's only got blacks, Jews, and Muslims on the spin wheel. What do you expect? It's gonna land on there eventually.
Regular American, never been in politics.
So fucking what? What do you mean regular American? What first of all, what kind of shitty feeling do you have about Americans that somehow everybody who hasn't been in politics is guilty of accidental anti-Semitism? I didn't know. I was just saying, you know, some Jew. I don't know.
Could not even have told you most people back in politics or families' names don't know their
But
background.
now that you do know, now that you're a member of Congress, and now that you've been told that this...
People don't care.
People don't care about Jews around here, okay? There aren't any. Right, Gary? Huh?
Well, anti-Semitism is on the rise in an alarming rate.
I'm fully against anti-Semitism. You're mixing two things together.
One of the greatest cures for anti-Semitism is if you think of it like a back to Israel kind of a policy.
You're accusing me of something I did not do, and then you're trying to blame me for anti-Semitism.
I am not
on the right.
blaming you. I'm
No,
saying,
you are such a liar. You need to stop. Like, this is amazing.
Inadvertently, couldn't you be contributing?
No,
Not
I'm
in
not.
any way.
Not at all.
That's ridiculous.
100%. Listen, I'm a Christian. I support Israel.
Support Israel as what? A staging ground for the rapture?
I have one of the most pro-Israel voters in Congress.
So what?
So why don't you judge me by
I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu said that Barack Obama was one of the best friends Israel ever had. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that doesn't automatically, in your mind, give Barack Obama a pass for fucking anything. So why the hell would you just voting lockstep with the pro-Israel lobby on the right wing for your own purposes be like a get out of jail free card with this bullshit?
those things instead of twisting and turning what you think I was writing in some.
Well, what were you writing? What did you mean? Why did you bring up the Rothschilds? Why, if you didn't know the root of them, why would you go, the Rothschilds, wink, wink. Who gives a fuck? Why? That's a solid question to follow up with, is that if you didn't bring them up, like, who are they to you that you brought them up? You brought it up in the context in that post. Like, I read it for you guys. She brought it up in the context of that post as if it was a gotcha. Why is it a gotcha to you? If it isn't because they're part of a Jewish cabal of, baby spine juice eaters who are half lizard and probably from space, then why? Why'd you even mention them? What's the big deal with, why would anybody look at any of these names the same way you do with, like, Dianne Feinstein's husband, right?
2018 Facebook post, which is not at all what you're saying right now. That's not at all it.
Congresswoman, how troubling is it that we're talking about QAnon in 2018 while Americans are struggling with inflation, interest rates are going up?
Thanks for redirecting it, Gary.
Yeah.
The cost of mortgage a house is going up. Hunter Biden's
No, it isn't.
laptop, they won't cover. They'll cover
It doesn't exist.
for your QAnon, but they won't cover,
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so
Hunter
good.
Biden.
Woo! I have the laptop. It's right here. Where? Oh, shit. I had it. It was right here. It was right here. It's around here somewhere.
For your QAnon, but they won't cover the Russian hoax with, Michael Sussman. How concerning that the real message doesn't get out when you get in groups like this?
Well, I say it over and over, Brian. Freedom of press is such a.
Oh, she knows that guy by fucking name. She was like, I don't know, where you from? CBS 40-something, Miss Alive 11. And meanwhile, this dude's like, you know what, Brian? As I've told you many times.
Russian hoax with, Michael Sussman. How concerning that the real message doesn't get out when you get in groups like this?
Well, I say it over and over, Brian. Freedom of press is such a wonderful thing. And
It's wonderful.
I think it's a true blessing, and I
It's a blessing.
always want to protect it. But
Always.
freedom of press is not the freedom to lie about people. And this is what's happening right here. This is a lie. It is troubling.
Well, what you're saying is a lie, sure.
To me, because it seems like, unfortunately, you're not connected with what people are saying is important to them. You're bringing up things and twisting and turning it, and I think that's very troubling, because these are powerful platforms that are able to get a message out. But here's what's really sad, Brian.
I'll tell you what's hang the fuck out. I'll tell you what's really sad. She's in this really nice field out just off of I thought they near a parking lot. They all hanging out and they all wearing their best country red to set it off. It's like fucking Christmas. Look at all the red and the green and the big dirty beard. Man, that's like the Santa from the holla that we have every time. Listen here, I don't like how she's being treated, quite frankly. I'm enamored of this lady, largely because I've always been attracted to women who could bench press me.
Discredit themselves. And it causes regular people to say, I don't trust the news anymore.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I don't trust the news anymore, even when somebody else reads it to me.
I can't believe in the news because they're not stupid. See,
yeah, I can't believe in the news because they're not stupid. If they were stupid, I'd be like, I get you.
the thing is, people aren't stupid.
Well, some people are. Podunk Dave, he gets, see, he's the thing. We ain't stupid, but we like to get stupid. You know what I mean? Woohoo! NASCAR, show me your butthole.
They are able to
show me your butthole.
See the truth and look past the lies in the headlines.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. It's like she's doing her own show. Look past the lies and the headlines and show me your butthole.
And figure out things for themselves. So yeah, it is a big concern of mine, and I'm just so glad people are much smarter.
I feel seen.
All right.
Well, all right. Woo! That was exciting. I learned a lot. I started this off thinking that I was the only person that knew that the Rothschilds were part of a big...
Welcome, one and all.
Oh, hello. What is this?
There, high and away.
What in the world?
Welcome,
What's that? No.
dear friends,
What? What is this noise? Stop it. What's happening?
Welcome to the Late Show. I'm your host,
What is
Stephen
playing?
Colbert.
Who is this?
Hi.
Where is this audio coming from?
That's it. Yeah.
Get out of here,
That's all
man.
the
Shut
message.
up. That ain't right. What the heck? Sorry. I had to change the channel. I don't know where that went. That was weird. That was just like an autoplay video that I left open in a window that I was still doing. Sorry. It wouldn't be the show without a little bit of, hold on. Behind the scenes audio issues. By the way, you're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, Hal. Well, just you wait. I don't know if you know this, but J.D. Vance, Trump's pick in the Ohio senatorial primary, won by 10 points in a field of 5. Never mind the fact that Tim Ryan was up against 3 people and won 70% of the vote. J.D. Vance pulled a squeaker. And I think, I'm going to go with a bunch of people. And by the way, you're not wrong. He looks fried as fuck. And it's not just the freeze frame. Wait till we get going. The fuck? Where's the other snowshoe? What the fuck happened here? What kind of... there it is. It's over here in the corner. What kind of weird sex games are they involved in? The hats on the fucking antler? Anyways, J.D. Vance said that Trump could be America's Hitler. I think he got some votes just for saying that and getting the dude's votes. People are going to say, well, he can work with anybody. All right, 5 gags, right. So we do need a meme. Look at that. Jesus Christ, dude. Bagged the fuck out.
Okay, guys, great.
Okay, guys, great news. Few
news for America first.
For America first. Our pick squeaked out a win in Ohio in a field of like 8 people.
All been sick of RINO Republicans and the establishment and the nonsense.
Oh, excuse me.
And the weaklings that we've sent to D.C., but so far, it's looking like a great night for Trump endorsements all over the country. But in particular, it's a great night for J.D. Vance, with literally tens of millions of dollars spent against my man, J.D.
And who knew they didn't even have to spend that money. They could have just banked on Trump saying his name wrong.
In Ohio, for the Republican nomination for Senate over there, J.D. wins it. They called it before 9 o'clock. Remember, guys, tens of millions.
So what you're saying is using the same electoral process and available machines and methods of counting, J.D. Vance won a primary with no problems, no fraud, no issues whatsoever. Fair and square. Huh. Even in a field that big. But I bet the rhinos.
Millions of dollars. The biggest haters of Trump in 2016 funded literally everyone in a crowded
2016
field, and they call it before 9 o'clock. I've been supporting JD for a long time.
We both go to the same beard fitter.
Father came and endorsed him recently, but with plenty of time to throw it over the top so that
we both shop at the same small and stout shop.
We can have more people in the United States Senate who will actually fight for MAGA, for the America First movement.
Oh, MAGA? So it's pronounced America? MAGA. Ew. Ew. Oh, pardon me, Major. MAGA, is it? Ew. Pardon me. I'll be in the drawing room playing the grand piano. Ooh, MAGA.
Where we will put Americans first, where we will have people who will stand up to the establishment, to the rhinos.
Rhinos. Please tell me more about these rhino people. These are Republicans in name only. I heard from some sources that they are indeed worse than Democrats. Somebody told me that. Somebody related to Trump. Tangentially. I mean, he doesn't see the guy much. But
to the left and put hard-working Americans.
Oh, I'm so glad he followed up with the word working.
First. This is the left's biggest fear. There's a reason the New York Times.
Well, I think it was their biggest fear. He would have won with more than 32% of the vote, and the Democrat wouldn't have won with 70% of the vote. Just saying. With almost the same number of people.
Times, the Washington Post, CNN, and all the usual haters on the left went after JD because they know that he will fight for you. Okay? That's not what they're interested in.
But I don't understand. You see, he's a senator in Ohio. He doesn't represent me. As a matter of fact, his plans are antithetical to the, the stated goals of the majority of Americans. He was right about that. Yeah, your dad could have been America's Hitler, but like Shitler, like Hitler with like post-meth Hitler.
Folks, if the left is attacking Republicans in a primary, it's because they fear them. They know they'll.
Or they're just they're just talking about who the Republicans are putting up in an election and referencing which ones would be the worst. And it might just be that we have an adversarial political system in the United States with two major parties and have had for a long time. It isn't really based on any root fear. It's just a recognition that, okay, there are like 6 people running and the main guy who's going to win because of Trump's backing is a fucking lunatic. Recognizing that is not, terror. It's just like, oh, yeah, that's who they're running.
Be effective. They know they'll deliver the message, but most importantly, they know those people won't fold at the first sign of adversity.
No, it's the third. They fold after the third sign of adversity. It's kind of like drowning.
We have plenty of Republicans that do that each and every day.
Yeah, oh, yes. Plenty of Republicans that fold at the first sign of adversity each and every day. You don't say. Sounds like a lot of them. So you're telling me a lot of Republicans have a tendency to be weak, feckless, pathetic even. Tell me more.
And the left loves them. They've made a career out of making those people's lives easy because they know they can get from them what they want in any given instance. So I'd like
Well, you make it sound easier than it is. I mean, it's not like I don't get dolled up or anything.
to congratulate JD on a resounding win early in the night when he was down.
Yeah, that's right. JD won early in the primary and won early in this election Not like your dad who are dragged on for days and he fought it even though he was obviously losing. You know what I mean? JD ran and won right away in the primary, you know. I think he got fewer votes than Tim Ryan did, but don't let that bother you.
I saw up to even 12 points just 2 weeks ago. When people know that you're America.
It's because they had because the only other guy running was Mandel, and he likes to fuck squirrels or something.
First, that you will fight for them, that you will fight for our values, our freedoms, our liberties, and everything that we stand for.
Everything? Like tax dodges and fucking porn stars when you got a newborn at home? I mean, I'm just saying, Vance is going to be exhausted.
They'll go to bat for you.
I'm not voting for baseball players.
Remember that, Republicans.
By the way, so they're going to fight for you, and they're bringing a bat? That doesn't sound fair. Don't bring a bat. I don't want you to go. If you're going to fight for me, fair fight, fisticuffs, pugilism. Put up your dukes, but don't bring a bat. That's offsides.
Because there's far too many of you that forget that, and you'd rather cater to...
Yeah, you fucking rhinos that watch this.
...to the media, the leftists, the other weak Republicans.
Who is he talking to all of a sudden? Did you guys notice that? Like he shifted. He was talking to like fans of JD Vance and Trump all of a sudden. Now he's like, you fuckers who back these rotten Republicans. Like, hey, what did I do?
So that you can be loved and invited to the cool person party in D.C.
Yeah. Something that, quite frankly, Don has never felt.
No
never
more,
will.
folks. The Maga...
Yes, no more. You are never going to be loved and invited to the cool people's party. Just get it through your thick fucking skull.
The movement is alive and well, and we're witnessing it tonight. Congratulations, JD. I know you're going to make us proud in the U.S. Senate.
No. More than likely not. Sorry, that was lovely. That was a nice little moment of rhino shitting that they do. Enjoy that, you know, have a little popcorn every so often. I have to have it on site, ready to go in the studio at all times now because the amount of the attacks. Now, I don't want you to think, folks, that there aren't real issues out there. Real issues in need of real solutions. That we have to look to people better than us for, you know, people who can deal with the complexities of these issues. We got to look to them for these solutions because you and I can't come up with these things. We don't even understand these problems. That's why we have to go with people like Bongholio, because not only is he looking still, futilely, it seems, for teepee for his bunghole, but he's actually found a purpose behind what's in it. This is a video titled "The Other Food Crisis That Nobody Is Talking About." Now that's going to be a tough one. The other food crisis that no one is talking. What have we talked about? Swine flu, bird flu. We talked about obviously grain shortages because of Ukraine, Russia, corn for E15. Let's see. I'm sure there's a discussion. There's some dish that he's worried he won't be able to. You know, some of the biggest complaints from Glenn Beck are there are certain kinds of dog food not available. Bongholio is, you know, we'll see what does Bongholio eat that is no longer going to be available. Let's see.
Making matters even worse.
Making matters even worse than they were.
We are in a fertilizer crisis too.
Oh, all right. Bongholio eats fertilizer. It checks out, actually. I have to say. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
If you have any doubt whatsoever, what I'm telling you is true.
Well, I mean, you've obviously been watching his show.
Please double check Check with a friend of yours involved.
Yes, check with your friends who know fertilizer.
Involved in the ag industry.
In the ag industry.
Anywhere. From
anyone.
Fertilizer to tractor equipment to actual farming. Ask
anybody who's, if they're in the fertilizer business, obviously they'll have top tier knowledge. If they just have a tractor, they've heard about it. And if they actually farm, they're on the front and back line of it.
Ask them about the fertilizer crisis.
Ask them about the fertilizer crisis.
It is real.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get their hands on fertilizer. A lot of
Why do you lick your lips every time you say fertilizer is the concern?
it comes from synthetic fertilizers come from petroleum products. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oil and gas. Yes, that's where a lot of it comes from. There is a huge problem. So Dr. Ben Braddock.
Yes, tell us the solution, because it comes out of Russia. Russia makes a lot of the world's fertilizer.
Who I follow on social media, put out a really disturbing tweet. He says, listen, this crisis could get ugly. Are we going to start spraying human waste on the fields?
Does this corn smell funny to you? Well, shit. Now you got my attention. Come on, man. Come on, little human waste ain't never hurt nobody. You know what I mean? That's like corn on your corn. It's weird because my human waste, and I appreciate you using the fine cityfied term about that, already has corn in it. You doubling up. You doubling up.
I'll show you his tweet in a second,
but don't show me his human waste.
Oh, no, this doesn't happen. Oh, no, it does.
Oh, no, yeah, it does. Oh, no, it doesn't. Yes. Oh, no. Yes, 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 no.
Sewage sludge. Here's an article.
Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer test positive for toxic chemicals. Well, I did not need to be told that. And my goodness. I'm going to have to call in somebody that can look this up. Hold on. Sewage sludge. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me grab this. Take this little guy. Ahem. Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer. Mm-hmm. Oh, here it is. Ecori. Here you go. This is the article. Hold on. Ecori. Get the hell. This mouse is so weird. Okay, let me grab this. Right. Oh, I like their. Look how green and fun. Look at this. This is way more fun. Eco-Rye. Frank Carini wrote this up February 22nd. February 10th, 2022. Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer tests positive for toxic chemicals. Even got a little cartoon right here. PFAs used in manufactured landfill dumped into wastewater. Leachate from landfills contaminates groundwater in our homes. PFAs both go down the drain into the trash. Contaminated wastewater goes to treatment plants. Sewage sludge, biosolids contaminated with PFAs used as fertilizer on farms, dairies, and home gardeners. PFAs contaminates food and garbage. And these three people are living with all of it. Sewage sludge that many wastewater treatment facilities lightly treat and then sell throughout the United States as home fertilizer contains concerning levels of controversial substances. Last year, the Sierra Club and the Michigan-based Ecology Center found toxic per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances known as PFASs or forever chemicals in 9 fertilizers made from sewage sludge, commonly called biosolids, an ingredient list, and mapped businesses selling sludge-based fertilizers and compost for home use. Well, compost for home use outside the home, one would think. I'm just saying. Okay, let me shrink this down a little bit, because it's not all in here. Hold on. There we go. Okay, that's better. 8 of the 9 products tested. By the way, who thinks that Bongholio wants more regulations about this kind of stuff? Let's see. Overall, there are many as 5,000 of these chemical compounds in the market today. They persist in the environment, in our bloodstreams. This is shit that's been going on. This is about plastics and leftover solids. This is they're used in electronics, fighting foam, anti-fogging sprays, waterproof clothing, used in electronics, waxes, microwave popcorn bags. Some pizza boxes and countless other. They have seeped into drinking water supplies in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Sludge in the garden, toxic PFAS in home fertilizers made from sewage sludge. Noted many of the products from sewage sludge are labeled as eco, natural, or organic, even though they come from people poo-poo. People poo-poo. Let's see. Open link in new tab. PFA garden sludge. May 25th, 2021. You think this problem started in May of last year? Huh? This all of a sudden started happening? Does this asshole... This is an article reference to a report. There you go. A year ago about stuff that was happening before that. Right. The Biden administration is putting chemicals in your shit that's making it onto your food. Biden wants to shit on your hot dog personally. That's the story that this asshole wants to tell. Look at this. Look at the shock in his face. Dude, we know about this stuff. It's concerning, of course. What the fuck does that have to do with the we're going to have to start using sewer sludge, and that already is problematic. Unlike petrochemicals from fucking Russia.
Twitter thread about this from EcoRI. Sewage sludge repackaged as garden fertilizer tests positive for toxic chemicals. Read the link.
Oh my God. I did. Yeah, I brought it up. Yeah, they're talking about like plasticizers, that kind of stuff that works its way through your system. Connecticut doesn't allow the use of biosolids as fertilizer, meaning people poo-poo. Again, why is this a panic? Forever chemicals, which may be highly toxic to humans, are virtually unregulated, meaning industries are legally allowed to flush PFAS down wastewater drains where they settle out in the solid materials during wastewater treatment. The report's authors have called for strict regulation of sludge for the industry to address its PFAS waste and regulators to impose limits for the entire class of PFAS compounds instead of just a few. I'm for it. Look at us, Dan Bongino. We're both agreeing. Government action should be taken. The Biden administration can pass a law. I'm sure a House Republican would love to pass a bill through Congress, a bipartisan piece of legislation to limit the amount of biosolids in wastewater sludge-based fertilizers for home planting and whether or not you can call it organic. Knock yourself the fuck out. We're supposed to believe that Dan Bongino gives a rat fuck about what the Sierra Club feels?
It is disgusting. Well,
that's just because you're easily icked, as most conservatives are.
In this stuff.
Yeah. The shit isn't the problem, dummy. It's like, there's human poop in this. Like, that's not what we're talking about.
So Dr. Benjamin, he's at Graduated Ben. That's his Twitter feed, at Graduated Ben. Listen to this. You want to recoil in horror? Due to the fertilizer shortage, we're going to see a big expansion in municipal sewage being sprayed on fields as a fertilizer. Oh.
See, he's not upset about the PFASs, the pharmaceuticals, the viruses and heavy metals. It's just human shit versus petrochemicals or animal shit. Seriously, what a dumbass. He's grossed out by the fact that you use shit as fertilizer. Welcome to Earth, asshole.
Disgusting. He said,
why is it disgusting? Why is human shit any different than animal shit if you're using it as fertilizer? Where the fuck do you think stuff goes like this? Is this one of these assholes who thinks that like your wastewater just evaporates and becomes magic, like it becomes the silver lining on clouds? That's where our poop goes after we say bye-bye.
Says This is the most pollutant-rich man-made substance on Earth. It contains everything from PFASs to PFAs to
both.
Excuse me, to pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, you're excused.
To viruses to heavy metals.
He's still grossed out by the fact that it's just poop.
Human sludge, folks.
Yeah, see? He doesn't give a fuck. It's like pharmaceuticals, PFASs. I don't know what that is. It's poo-poo. It's poop. It's probably ugh.
You sure you want that? Here's a...
As opposed to petrochemicals? The fuck are you talking about?
New York Times. 2003. Sludge.
Oh, 2003.
Spread on fields is fodder for lawsuits. I want to read... Please, hang with me. This is...
Yeah, we're anytime you're talking shit, we're here.
It's about 3 paragraphs, but
okay, yeah, we'll deal with it.
I want you to listen to this about...
Yes, in 2003.
About human sludge on our food.
On our food? Asshole, what are you talking about? Do you not... First of all, is this the moment where we find out that not only does Bongholio not wash his food when he gets it home from the grocery store, but he thinks nobody washes it along the way, or he counts on it? The fuck?
This is from the New York Times, by the way, back in 2003. So none of this is new. The farmers outside Augusta, Georgia say the hay had a musty chemical odor and was dark and mottled, but they fed it to the cows.
Because they're idiots.
Then the cows started to waste away, growing so thin their ribs could be counted through their skin, the dairy farmers say. The cows died by the hundreds.
And yet they continued to feed them the rotten hay.
We couldn't save them, said the farmer whose family had been farming here since 1946. The cows wouldn't respond to antibodies. They wouldn't respond to IV fluids. They wouldn't respond to anything. They just ended up dying. The McEmelrys and the Boyce family, which owns another farm in the area, Boyceland Dairy, blamed the fertilizer they used in their hay fields. It was processed sewer sludge from the city of Augusta, which they say was tainted by industrial waste from surrounding factories.
Yeah. Not only was it human shit, but it was like, wait, there are factories in America? I thought they all went to Mexico.
Disgusting.
He's still just disgusted it's poop. He doesn't give a fuck about the industrial waste. Motherfucker, you're talking about petroleum-based fertilizers, which is a secondary biochemical waste product of oil drilling that they are using. What the hell?
Let's go, Brandon.
What the fuck? It's 2003, fucko. What do you mean, let's go, Brandon?
Folks, not only does this have the potential to contaminate our food supplies, another thing I need you to call your congressman about today. Ask him what we're doing about this now.
Yes, call them and ask them about, you read a story from 2003 about industrial waste in Augusta, Georgia, and you're worried that the lack of petroleum-based fertilizer will lead us to just dumping human sewage untreated onto farmland in mass.
You want human sludge all over your food?
Gosh, that's a tough question. Can you give me a second? All over my food? I mean, I don't mind a mix of sweet and savory.
Here's a Florida Today article from back in 2019. Again, linked in his thread. You can read yourself.
Yeah, 2019. I don't remember who was president then. You'll have to remind me.
Sewage sludge central. Officials fear waste from other communities threatens the water supply.
What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Practice now under fire for water managers potentially harmful local drinking water. Yes, leaking untreated sewage getting into the water supply, usually considered a negative. So you're telling me that while DeSantis was governor and Trump was president, and I guess in 2 years leading up to that, South Florida sewer plants were exporting sewage remnants, and north to Brevard and other Central Florida counties, the practice now under fire with water managers potentially harmful local drinking water, several miles upstream of Melbourne's main drinking water source. Trucks spread the sludge to fertilize pastures. Like, this is fucking new. What are you talking about? That's exactly why they stopped this.
Food, your water too. For at least 5 years, South Florida, where I live, the sewer plants have been exporting their sewage remnants.
Ah, I see. So something's in the water that's making you this way. It's all coming clear.
Biosolids or sludge north to Brevard and other central Florida counties. That practice is now under fire by water managers as being potentially harmful for local drinking water. They found this stuff upstream. They note that Melbourne's main drinking water source, trucks spread the sludge to fertilize pastures.
Right. In Florida. Already. For years.
Research by regional water managers suggests that disposing these biosolids on rural lands could be poisoning Lake Washington and other central Florida lakes where the city draws their tap water.
Again, listen to this fucking idiot. He's just concerned that there's poo-poo that might be getting into his water. He has not, like, the idea that they're not warning you about the shit part. The shit part is not a problem. The earth absorbs shit all the time. That's not the issue. It's the permanent chemicals that they're concerned about. And this dickhead is always like, oh my God, then taking poo-poo from down south in Florida, putting it on northern Florida, and then the poo-poo is running down the state.
Really, outside of me and Tucker, I haven't heard much about, am I missing this? I don't want to be dramatic.
Yes, you are being, hold on. Now, here's the story. Okay. Let me find a good. This is the root of what he's talking about. Okay. Fertilizer shortage worsened by war in Ukraine is driving up global food prices and scarcity. Farmers are seeing prices for fertilizer skyrocket. Some may choose to rotate crops or use less nutrients, which could reduce crop yields. All of this is a double whammy, if not a triple whammy, said a commodity strategist. We have a geopolitical risk, higher input costs, and basically shortages worldwide. The United States isn't going to experience this like everybody else, but a fertilizer shortage has added to the growing concerns about Ukraine's war. Combined with Russia and Belarus, provide about 40% of the world's exports of potash. According to Morgan Stanley, Russia's exports were hit by sanctions. Further, in February, a major Belarus producer declared force majeure, a statement that it couldn't be able to uphold its contracts due to forces beyond its control, meaning that Russia was basically taking them. Russia also exported 11% of the world's urea. Obviously, most of this goes to Dan Bongino's house for the showers. 40% of the ammonium nitrate, and Russian grains export 28% of fertilizer made from nitrogen and phosphorus, as well as potassium. Disruptions of these shipments due to sanctions and war has sent fertilizer prices skyrocketing. High grain prices are rising even more. They're going to get it from elsewhere. This is just a temporary lag. There's nobody on the fucking planet that is going, we don't have enough potash. I guess we just live without until Russia gets its shit together. Like, nobody operates like that. Michigan has a shit ton of potash. We just don't go for it because the process has been unwieldy. Huge problem. Confidence. Hold on. I'll show you what I mean. Give me 1 second. Meanwhile, this jackass, Michigan. This guy right here. So remember how I told you that there's a bunch of, let's see, to dismiss. Okay. When does this go? What's the date on this? Yep, here we go. I told you that we're heading into a deflationary cycle because most of our monetary issues are caused by supply issues, not by, monetary issues. And what happens is if there's very little of something, everybody can make it, everybody can get it, but they haven't because of something like COVID. the price goes up because people want to be at the first of the line. They want it before somebody else, so they're willing to pay more for it. And then everybody notices how high the prices are, and they start ramping up production. Well, everybody worldwide does that at the same time and floods the market with a bunch of stuff, and then the price crashes. It's happened before, it'll happen again, and it's happening with a lot of these things. The same thing will be true of fertilizer and potash, because everybody's like, oh shit, look at the fertilizer prices, and it's just stuff that's in the ground. Meanwhile, it doesn't even take that much to get back to that number. The amount we get from Russia, we get a lot of it. We get 40% from there. Like, it's a big number, but it's not in terms of just overall physical volume and impossibility. Okay. Why Michigan is pumping $50 million into a private potash operation. Located at least 7,000 feet underground, a massive mineral deposit left behind by ancient evaporated seas could be the key to a new billion-dollar industry in Michigan. Now, I know what you're thinking. This fuckwad would rather get the potash from Russia, and we need to stop this war immediately so we don't inconvenience people or charge people anything more for a time overseas so the money can continue to flow into Russia after we're done. Fuck Michigan and the idea that Michigan could make up this entire gap and supply this. This is not like liquid natural gas. LNG is really hard. Natural gas is really hard just to get. You have to transport it when it doesn't go through a pipeline is a pain in the ass. You have to liquefy it. There's processing plants too, on both ends of it. It's a big deal. None of that is true of potash. You pull it out, refine it slightly, and fucking put it on a goddamn boat, like a coal barge. It looks like that. It's not complicated, not in that way. Located at least 7,000 feet underground, a massive mineral deposit left behind by ancient evaporated seas could be the key to a new billion-dollar industry in Michigan. Governor Gretchen Whitmer on Wednesday signed a nearly $5 billion bipartisan spending deal that includes $15 million state subsidy for the Michigan Potash and Salt Company. The private firm is finalizing plans for a $1.1 billion development in Osceola County to drill, extract, and commercialize part of a potassium ore deposit that stretches an estimated 2.9 million acres beneath 8 Michigan counties. The deposit contains salt and potassium chloride, commonly known as potash, a critical and increasingly costly component of fertilizers used in farms across the country, but primarily imported from Canada, Russia, and Belarus. The Michigan deposit might just be the richest of its kind in the world, according to geologists at Western Michigan University, but the challenge, experts say, is getting the minerals out of the ground and doing so without causing long-lasting environmental damage. Yeah, because we give a shit. One of the reasons why we get this stuff from Russia is because nobody in Russia gives a rat fuck what happens to the ground over there. Most of these things, like most of what we would think of as rare earth minerals, for example, which aren't rare at all, but the process of getting them out can be toxic, so we'd rather have it done where there aren't a lot of people around. And Russia does a lot of that because they got a lot of shit land. They got a lot of permafrosted, Siberian land where they get this stuff. The firm has already won environmental permits to drill 8 Michigan wells and pump them full of groundwater, which is expected to dissolve rock and create brine. Once extracted, the brine will be dried to produce potash and salt. Residual wastewater will be pumped back down and deep underground into 3 disposal wells for permanent storage. Look, there goes all your poo-poo water. You'll be happy, Bungholio. A $50 million in-state funding may help the company clear a final financial hurdle to begin its what otherwise a shovel-ready project that could be operational in 3 years. It's amazing that we have it just right here in our backyard, he said of the potassium deposit. Coalition of clean water advocacy groups have urged Whitmer to veto the funding, arguing the potash operation will draw too much water from local aquifers and jeopardize local wetlands. They also contend a potential brine leak could create an unnecessary environmental risk compared to the environmental risk that's ongoing because we manage it versus what Russia does is ridiculous. It's sort of a selfish kind of thing. Plus, Michigan doesn't have that problem in central Michigan. If it did, they would have gotten rid of the Line 5 pipeline a long time ago. We shouldn't be giving state money to private investor with a very questionable operation in mind. Citizens for Water Conservation, a grassroots group based in neighboring Mecosta County, said the damage that can occur just in the process of trying to construct something like this is going to be massive. But geologists and state regulators say modern engineering techniques minimize those risks, and the company says it plans to recycle groundwater by reusing at least 90% from each withdrawal as part of a closed-loop system. The development has powerful backers in Lansing, including House Republican Speaker Jason Wentworth of Farwell, who called it an obvious choice to spend $50 million in state money on the plant facility. By the way, the rest of the money is largely coming from the infrastructure project and private investment. And this is like an enormous draw that ultimately, I mean, everything below this point is, you know, has relative toxicity. So, but this asshole wants you to believe that America's a failed state and we're spraying shit on our food because they did it poorly in Florida in 2003, and he's having an ick panic.
I have not seen any widespread cover, right? Of this, I know why. Because they don't want to add the media, that is, doesn't want to add another damaging black eye to Biden. Hey,
what the fuck are you talking about? How is this a damaging black eye to Biden? The whole world is chasing the potash that's been removed from the market because of Russia. What the fuck does this have to do with Biden?
Screwed up the border, he screwed up the economy, he screwed up your money, screwed up your water supply, screwed up your food.
Based on what, fucko? Did you not drink any water today, Bongholio, because it had a turd floating in it? Are you not eating right now? Because it screwed up your food?
But this is kind of a big deal. And
yeah, but only if you're fucking stupid.
Not in a Ron Burgundy way. I
have no personality or charmless and idiotic?
I am extremely concerned, given what I went through health-wise, about what goes into my body.
And the rest of us are what? Fucking, well, it wouldn't be chopped liver. That'd probably be good for us.
And as my wife said yesterday, we don't have time to cook every meal. I don't hear. What
do you mean? What are you doing? Eating raw chicken? We don't have time to cook every meal. Sometimes we have to get it right from the farm, and it's got a turd on it. You just push it out of the way, and sometimes we just pull over and run into a farmer's field and just grab corn and start gnawing on it. So you've been known to bite a cow, honey, right in the ass.
Sometimes we have to order these takeout stuff. I mean,
yeah, and we don't know where. I mean, we don't know how many turds could be. What the fuck?
We generally eat healthy. A lot of fish, a lot of vegetables.
And luckily, the fish can, they can dodge the poo.
Folks, I don't have time to sit there and look for the organic label on every single thing.
Well, according to the article you just showed us, they're calling human waste organic, dummy. It wouldn't save you anyways. The fuck's wrong with you?
If it's in our water supply, this is just really horrifying stuff.
Dude, you live in Florida. I'm sorry, in any of this time, has there been a Democratic governor of Florida that perpetuated this shit?
Now, on the foods...
Oh, hold on. Was that an edit? What happened?
Time to sit there and look for the organic label on every single thing. If it's in our water supply, this is just really horrifying stuff. Now, on...
I guess so. He just sat there for a minute. It was just dead air. Thanks for cutting it out. I appreciate it.
The food side of the food and fertilizer crisis. I am not trying to induce any kind of panic or...
Because I don't have the brains to even comprehend the issue. So anybody who would panic based on anything I say probably lives in a constant state of a moronic hamster-like panic anyway. So I couldn't stop you from panicking if I wanted to. What was I talking about?
Hysteria. I'm not a leftist. But the way to alleviate anxiety about a coming problem is to solve the problem.
Ah, I see. What if you can't solve the problem? How do you solve the problem? Don't shit on your food. Okay. Yes. First principles. If there is a turd on your meal, don't eat it, especially if it's uncooked chicken. I just think it's a bad combo.
And we're not solving any problems right now in the...
Yeah, we are.
United States.
Yes, we are. I just pointed out the fact that between the infrastructure bill and the states, specifically a Democrat governor who operates in the state, they are actually long-term working to solve this so that our access to good fertilizer won't disappear and we won't be reliant on anyone else. It's just like the Obama plan that set us on a road to energy independence that just happened to happen while Trump was in office and is back. And, you know, we've maintained since he left.
We're whistling past the graveyard.
That's a phrase he's using that seems to have meaning and offers a poetic answer just to the concerns of someone that's watching, as opposed to actually, I guess, asserting. I don't know.
The Guardian. This is from just the other day.
Just the other day.
Millions of tons of grain stuck in Ukraine, says a German UN official.
Yes, but is it covered in poo-poo? Is there wee-wee on it?
Folks, this is huge.
Uh-huh. If that doesn't get here, we're not going to eat. And if we don't eat, we don't shit. And if we don't shit, the plants don't grow. Do you understand?
We are looking at a major international food crisis.
Yeah, we know.
Now, there is a way to fix this problem.
Great, let's hear it. There's a way to fix this problem. Bongholio knows what it is. Let's hear it.
Immediately.
All right, immediately. Oh, immediately.
It would be to incentivize the petrochemical industry to...
Oh, incentivize. Incentivize. That sounds like spend taxpayer dollars paying the petrochemical industry to produce potash and other fertilizers, which we're already doing.
Produce more fertilizer to get better yields.
Yeah, pay them to produce more fertilizer to get better yields. Pay the plants to grow. That's, you know, this is idiocracy. He's the fucking president in idiocracy.
We could do everything we can to open up those ports in Ukraine to make sure at minimum the food can get out. We're not doing that, folks.
Yes, we are. The fuck are you talking about?
We're doing none of it.
What do you mean we're doing none of it? Fucking hell. Like, how? Look, I understand you can disagree with what's being done. You could say strategically we need to focus on something else. Hold on. U.S. help. This is from February 19th. USDA head, U.S. farmers to help if Ukraine exports threatened. U.S. Secretary of Agriculture says, under Biden, says that a Russian invasion of Ukraine offers American farmers a chance to boost production and prevent supply chain problems. American wheat farmers will boost production and prevent supply chain problems in the event that a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine chokes off agricultural exports from the global grain powerhouse, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture said on Saturday. We've already started that process when it looked like they were going to attack. This is before they attacked. Here you go. Fertilizer, wheat, corn, and soybean futures leap higher in Chicago. Here you go. And this is a Bloomberg story about this. Hold on. I'm already signed in on this. Hold on. Do I log? Here's the current state of things. Ukraine corn, wheat exports will plummet further, U.S. says. U.S. issues forecast as war raises grain, fertilizer prices. Wheat, corn, and soybean futures leap higher in Chicago. This is April 8th, 2022. This is right now. The U.S. continued to slash estimates for Ukraine's grain exports as sea routes were curbed following Russia's invasion. Ukraine corn exports will drop by another 4.5 million tons to 23 million tons, and wheat exports by 1 million tons, according to U.S. Department of Agriculture's closely watched World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates, the WASDE. Global wheat stockpiles were revised down to 278.4 million tons. less than expected by a Bloomberg survey. Okay, so they were revised down less than they thought they would have to be, but okay. Russia's war in Ukraine is upending trade flows out of the critical Black Sea breadbasket region, prompting warnings of food shortages as crucial supplies of wheat, corn, and cooking oils are at risk. Food prices are surging at a fastest clip ever, worsening world hunger, putting pressure on other big growing areas to produce big crops this year. There's an increased possibility of the conflict getting out of hand again. Peace is not coming anytime soon, said Jack Scoville, analyst of the Price Futures Group in Chicago. Grain and oilseed futures have jumped to record or near record highs and also caused a spike in prices from farm necessities like fertilizer and fuel. Meanwhile, weather woes and inflation in key producers like the U.S. and Brazil are clouding the outlook for the year's crop supplies. While USDA raised its forecast for Brazil's current corn crop more than expected, the real test will unfold over the next several weeks. April is a critical growing period for the grain, and if adequate rains don't arrive in time, it could crimp yields. Most active corn futures in Chicago briefly plunged after the U.S. report hit, but quickly bounced back to settle 1.4% higher at $7.60 plus a barrel, or bushel rather, benchmark wheat rose 3.2% to $10 a bushel. Soybeans jumped 2.6 to $16. Ukrainian crops pile up as war ports close. That's what the takeaway from this thing is. They're just kind of sitting there. Prices have been up prior to the report's release amid news that Russia bombed a major rail evacuation hub in Ukraine, killing dozens of people, sidelining supplies. To see how significantly war is upending crop flows from Ukraine, its corn stockpiles tell the story. The war has left the country saddled with huge amounts of grain that is largely unable to move. With its ports shut, Ukraine is working to ramp up exports via rail, but the flows remain well below the normal seaborne trade. By the way, this stuff is not rotting. They are preserving it. It just doesn't get out as fast. There's a delay on this. The next problem they're going to have is not what they have, but the next crop yield. So other countries are going to have to up their crop yield by about 5%, hopefully, and that will make up for the lost grain worldwide that will present. And so everybody's worried about the next growing months. It's not about what's available now. It's about what might be available. So everybody's kind of kicking in. And by the way, governments all over the world, including ours, are subsidizing fertilizer for everybody. So get the fuck out of here. The chaos in the Black Sea so far hasn't led to a jump in U.S. grain exports, though there were signs of fresh corn demand this week when China scooped up 1.1 million tons, the Asian market's biggest buy in almost a year. Besides the worsening war that's affected Black Sea exports, the report was bearish. Bullish means the market's going to go up, invest. Bearish means the prices are going to go down. Why would the price be going down if we're in a fucking nightmare where we're going to be eating poop instead of real food? Besides the worsening war that's affected Black Sea exports, the report was bearish. According to Naomi Blum, senior market advisor at Total Farm Marketing in Wisconsin, with no changes to U.S. corn reserves, bigger wheat supplies, and a smaller than expected cut in soybean stockpiles. See this stockpile number? The exports have been cut off. The existence has not. And our production is up, as is everybody's. And everybody's going to be making up for this because people are going to need to buy it. Shifts in the soybean markets are also underway. The report raised U.S. exports while lowering shipments out of Brazil as well as Ukraine and Russia. South American soybean crops are down a combined 33 million tons below initial estimates from November, which marks a record loss for the region after a strong drought caused by La Nina weather patterns. That's their output. With the cut in production, the smaller South African exports will drive more demand to the U.S. for summer and early fall. We will be selling more stuff outside the country, and prices will go up for U.S. farmers. We will not experience shortages here, and we are replacing the Russian potash with Michigan, which might be the single biggest potash producer in the world. Fuck you, Bongholio.
And it's one of these things. It reminds me of that movie.
Idiocracy. Idiocracy. That's the movie you're looking for. It's almost like it's the movie that made you feel seen.
What is it? The Brad Pitt zombie movie.
World War Z? What?
Where the guy says, nobody thinks anything's going to happen until it does. World War Z. Sorry, that's right. I've seen that.
What the fuck?
Movie 1,000 times. You think I...
Really? You've seen that movie 1,000 times. I mean, I enjoyed it, but what the fuck?
Be able to pull that one. Well, the guy says,
Well, obviously there's shit in your food, so it's affecting your thought process.
oh, well, what made you think there'd be zombies? He goes, well, no one believed me because no one thinks anything's going to happen until it does.
Yes, nobody believes in zombies until there's lots of them running around, and then all of a sudden they're believers. It's weird how zombies are like that. It's almost as if the entire concept is horseshit until it ain't. Fuck me.
Now, we're not going to have zombies.
Are you sure? Until we do.
But folks, a food crisis, if it hits you, you don't want to be left with that. So, stock up.
Yes, we're back to fucking the beginning of 2020. Fill your basement with fucking cans of beans because Armageddon's coming. And then when it doesn't come, you can go, what are these assholes stocking up on toilet paper for?
Have some items.
Yes, have some items. Stop pretending. This motherfucker, look, we are incredibly fortunate to live in a functioning society, to have the structures that over the years have been put in place to make this country resilient against shit like this. And it's terrifying for people who are in, failed states and shifting boundary type of countries and tribal regions that don't have that security to experience that. But one of the biggest things you can do that clearly shows you to be a prick is to live in this country and pretend you're living in that. So the same assholes are like, we basically live in China. I mean, you get kicked off Twitter just for telling somebody to squirt horse paste on a light bulb and shove it up your ass and call yourself a doctor even though you don't have a degree. It's basically China.
Be prepared. It's a way to reduce the anxiety of a pending problem in the future.
Excuse me, how much shit-covered food am I supposed to keep in my freezer? Good Lord. Oh my God. Can you imagine relying on that fuck for solutions to anything? It's bad enough. Fuck me. It's bad enough he has such a weak grip on reality and poor reading comprehension skills, so that he's looking at these headlines mixed with other like chunks of stories and conflating meaning out of them that is just mind-bogglingly fucking dumb. But then his baseline solutions, or what his perception of the problem is, I mean, this is like, this is one of those guys who hears Winston Churchill's quote, if you're going through hell, keep going, and thinks if you're drowning, swim down. Like that's how Bongholio would interpret that quote. Good fucking Lord. I know, Kath, it's amazing. She's like, he has zero reading comprehension, zero. It's stunning. I'm amazed that I can still be amazed by this dipshittery. I'm out of time. Man, so much stuff. Can I do something though? Can I show you guys something kind of interesting and freaky and cool on my way out the door? Because what happens is if I put up another clip, I'll start doing it and then I'll get all mad that I couldn't finish it. And then I feel whatever. But if I can show you something that's kind of starts a conversation, we can just bug out and that'll be fine. See these little boxes right here? These little printing devices. These are form like 3D printing machines. And they're industrial. They just kind of line up and they're all linked together and they kind of make similar pieces. And what this thing does is it uses this gelatinous cover, and they print this stuff, and then the stuff that's printed in there, wait till you see what they're printing. I want to make sure you can't see what it says because it's kind of a surprise. Comes up through this gel. And okay, so there are a couple of ways to do additive manufacturing, which is what 3D printing is. There's the main one, like the ones that I have, use it's like a cake decorator doing one dot at a time on a micro level. So they just and draw lines like that, and then it stacks upon stacks upon stacks, and so it builds up from the ground. Then there's resin, which is this pool of stuff, and the resin, basically a laser shoots across the top of it in a certain pattern. It solidifies the resin just by hitting it with the laser, and then the thing it's stuck to starts raising up, and it literally pulls it out of these. It's fucking great to watch. I don't have a resin printer. I have a regular 3D printer. One of these days I'm going to get it set up where I can put a camera on it and you guys can see the stuff that I print as a hobby. But I've shown a couple of things in the past. Most of the stuff I have is installed in the house or hung on a wall, so I can't just go pull it. Anyways, yeah. These are really cool, but they smell and they need ventilation and shit like that. And I wish I had one of these. I wish I had a big giant fucking garage, because that one of the sections of the garage, there'd be like my car, my girl's car, and a resin printer in the middle of the other one. Okay, this is the gray goo, but okay. So this is what's being printed, and it goes over rap like that. The laser goes over it, and then as it pulls out, there you go. It solidifies this stuff, and then they raise it up out of the resin because it's been hardened. These are support structures of the resin. They get broken off. So they don't have Hitler mustaches. That's just to keep the nose, because there's some variance in these faces, from falling off. So they create these little support structures. And if you'll notice, they didn't have support structures on the fingers, so some of them broke off or fell off or were only developed, or they might be adding pieces later, like moving parts, so they make them without the front two fingers. Look at that shit. I mean, it looks like a Hitler machine, but it's not. Okay, so then, yeah, so they cover them in this silicone cover, so that they, and from that, they peel off the silicone, and then they can put it over something else. And then I'll fast forward to this part. So they take this stuff and they pull these pieces, and these are the 3D printed pieces. These are the heads, right? These things, they cover them in this, they break off all the support structures. Whenever anybody who 3D prints, Rob Glenn knows this better than any other person I know, this spongy support structure stuff. And then you can recycle that and use it again. You melt it down and turn it back into resin. Not full on AI, but close. So they take these things out. This is in South Korea. And they take these pieces off. There you go. And then they use these as molds to make, let's do this. They have these little jacket parts on them that they built. And then there's the hands. And then they put these, they clean them out. And they use these basically as to create the initial molds. And these are shirts that go on these guys, basically. Look at these parts. People, I'm telling you. The future is right around the goddamn corner. I love how they're making robots old, because most of us won't age in the future. So they're going to make robots that look older than us, because we will be deferential to them, in theory. Just put your face in a container. Where's Grandpa? He's in storage. And they take these things and they sand them down. Okay, and then they sand down where the eyeballs go, and they take the thing, and then they put them in here and they spray paint them. And they cover them up in the stuff with the silicone thing, and then so they look really fucking human. Now these artists making them look like photorealistic, and then they put eyeballs in them. Now these, I'm not sure these guys have the moving eyes yet. These guys probably don't. These guys have, these are just still, these aren't quite to full res yet, but that's pretty close. Oh no, these are tracking eyes. Yeah. In some cases. Look, it's fucking creepy. And then by the end of it, let me show you. Doink. These guys. This is what they're prototyping. And basically, the theory is, there you go, look at this. Look at these things. Big line of these motherfuckers at this event. And they, all these things will, eventually the idea is that they are referential. So you would take over one of these things at a meeting and it would be there in your stead. So you would be, they'd have like a scanner on your face and track your face motion. This is where they're going towards with this stuff, with your own hands and all that kind of stuff. And you would basically, just by moving around and through facial and hand tracking, you wouldn't even have to carry a device or hold a device in any ways. It would just track how your hands go. You would be at the meeting. Yeah, virtual presence robots, right? I mean, yeah, just crazy. I just think that's fascinating, and I'm, in a weird way, I'm totally for it. I mean, it's, think about where we are with robots right now, and let me show you this is the other thing. I showed you guys the diamond robots, right? Hold on. Now let me go to, show you this real quick. Stay on the okay. Whoops. Sorry. I was typing on the wrong. There's a let's see. Yes. So, yeah, this is the IREX 2022. Let's see, one second. Get out of here. There's a robot show going on in Japan, the IREX show, and they're working with like the state-of-the-art robots that are available. A lot of it's industrial robots, packing robots, and that kind of stuff, and then interactive robots. And then they've got, I don't know what the fuck, security robots, future mechs. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have, if you have an Oculus or a PSR, a PS4 or 5 VR, and it has a new update to the hand tracking where you don't have to use the little handles with the buttons on it. You can literally show your hands out in front of your face and gesture, and it will trigger certain things. You can touch stuff like that in the virtual world. It's getting really good. It used to be, the assumption was, and the difficulty was, that in any robotics like this kind of stuff, you would have to put something on a real person's hands, and that's how they would control it. Now the hand tracking is getting so good that they can just do it without anything touching you. You can just go, I'm the assigned person, controlling this, and my hands matter. And one of the ways that you can do it is like paint your nails, or you wear, just visual gloves that have a QR code on them, so only you can operate your own device, so somebody else can't grab your device and choke you with it. I don't know what the fuck. This is very like, just a little riding pony thing. It's super weird. I mean, it's cute. And, part of this is it can walk. It's a mule. So it can, people can ride it like a walker, but it can also go upstairs. See, like that. Is that the problem with like rascal scooters is it has limited mobility. But what they're trying to do is eventually teach these things to be able to like take you upstairs. So it can basically walk, carrying stuff and deliver it, including people. So if you have an old person and they need to, travel over uneven terrain and, oh no, you're in a rascal scooter and you've reached the end of something, what do? Well, you just, it goes into walking mode. There's a bunch of everybody's looking for the movement robots. Like this stuff, get used to the idea, people. We're, Yeah, here we go. Old people. That's what it's all about. Because South Korea and Japan, their societies are aging super fast. They don't have anywhere near enough young people to be nurses and the like. So they are creating people who can do this stuff. Look at this fucking thing. That's amazing. But this thing can climb, I guess is what we're assuming. But they've got it on he can slide down. He gets it. That's fascinating. And then can he walk a balance beam? There you go. And they keep them tethered because these are fucking expensive and it's all new tech. But these are, if you'll notice, the old tethers used to be the computerized tether. There used to be a wire on the top of it that, all the calculating was done somewhere else. But now they're doing it on board or via Wi-Fi. A lot of it's via Wi-Fi. Let's see. This is another like packing robot. There's like an Amazon robot that will drop off your package, and then you'll have a home robot that picks it up, and you'll never touch anything, and because people are gross. This is a surgery robot, so that inside you they will just cut holes. Instead of slicing you open and spreading stuff out, they can stick these things in. They'll widen it out right where the wound is or the tumor is, and then they'll cut around it so they don't have to slice you open just so human eyes can see around all the shit. This thing's fucking crazy. It's basically a crane with a big robot body on the front of it so you can control it with your hands once it's up there. Look at that shit. Look at that. Oh my fucking God. That's nuts. Get away from her, you bitch! It's not a tumor. This is right. Yeah, but the surgical ones are fucking great because there's limitations on human fingers and human eyes. And so you just get around that in the same way that, we couldn't tear into someone a long time ago. So we invented the scalpel so we could create a super fine cut instead of just some, give me a butter knife, Marge. I got to get this musket ball out. We got finer and finer and finer ways of getting into the body. This is just, and this isn't like, the limitations of humans. This is what humans do. Human beings create, those kind of internalized robots because we know we have physical limitations and we surpass them so that we can help other humans and even animals without having to carve them open like a Christmas turkey just to fix shit. These are serving robots that will walk around. And there's like these little shows where they're just showing off the articulated stuff. And then there's, these are ones that get bugs off of plants and pick fruit. See, they can tell when they're ripe by the color. They track them. They use facial recognition tracking to pick when stuff is good. And by the way, Amazon workers, unions are going to be a short-lived thing. You're going to have to find something else to do, kids. Because if you can service one of these things, you don't need a union. They're going to need you because it's going to be very complex. And if you can be replaced by one of these things, it's going to happen soon. And it should to some degree because nobody needs to hurt their back picking shit up like this, over and over and over again. Repetitive stress is a terrible thing on the human body and is a waste of effort. That's why we have, bulldozers instead of 20 people with shovels now. These dudes, the fucking security robots, which look a little like, I don't know, they don't look that severe. These are basically watchers. They can't actually do anything. If you ran up and pushed them over, they'd fall down. But they can walk around and as sentries and, make bad guys nervous is the idea, I think. This is like, look how it can open a bottle and fill a bottle. And then, yeah, there you go. There's a guy, was he playing chess? Oh, he's playing a picture game. So using the sensors, he knows what the picture is. He sees what the parts are, and then he can put that together. This guy's, yes, one of the worst jobs in the world, filing papers. They're just replacing anybody. Here you go. Here's your papers. Please get the fuck out. Look at this guy with a little perch on his fucking shoulder. It's like Total Recall. Quaid. Yeah, so this thing is just like putting together packets of stuff. Like, it's stuff that's you know, we usually use human fingers for because it's delicate, but it's a fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, there's assembly and then packing. Where are they taking these things? This is Honda. Oh, these are their you know, self-driving transports. These are really cool too. The self-driving wheelchair things too. Honda has some great robots. I mean, the design on them is really solid. And see this dude right over here? He's got the glove tethered. That's this, and he's wearing an old system. They're already past this. This is already obsolete. By the time they got to the fucking convention, it was obsolete. These little avatars where you can have a little robot that talks to you and that kind of stuff. There's a coffee making one, so you don't have to, you know, there goes your robo barista. There's yeah. If you could practice ping pong as a ping pong playing one. I don't know what the speed is on this thing. I'd imagine it'd be ridiculous at a certain point. After it builds up, it'll just be unstoppable because it's mechanical. This thing's amazing. The climbing one is crazy. Between all of these things, and again, I think we can all take a page out of South Korea's book, which is don't try to sell resources that only you have under the ground where you live, because it's a recipe for oligarchy and monstrosity. Invention is always the key to a more sound society. You want the giant goat llama robot to get really fast? I agree. The fear is amazing. Yes, the future is now, no question. I mean, I remember seeing the Rocky IV robot, and I was like, that's so fucking cool. And there's a version of that one that exists. And then he just released his cut of Rocky IV and took it out. The robot's not in the new cut. And I was like, but it's possible now. It was fake back then. We need robots that pump gas for our cars. By the time we have robots that pump gas, we won't have gas in the cars. We'll have robot arms when you pull up that will, your car will, connect and it'll either charge or it will swap out a hydrogen cartridge. Although the new diamond batteries, I'm telling you, the diamond battery thing I told you guys about, that becomes a real technology. It's fucking game over. You don't even have to charge those batteries. They're encased in diamond. They're not, you can't run another car into a car fast enough or hard enough to break it. Everything about the car could be destroyed in a fire, and it'd be like, the battery would be like a black box. It would totally survive. It's amazing. For those of you who don't know, look up synthetic diamond carbon-14 batteries. The scene is cringe now. I agree, but I like it. Without a prototype diamond batteries or vaporware. That was 2 years ago, Matt. They have actually prototyped it. Yeah, those are BNR's or DNR, I think it is. DNR. Let's see, hold on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Popular Mechanics. They don't show the article. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these are basically going to be known as ND batteries. And let's see. Yeah, IMEC has a copy of it. I think, this is one of these. They've already prototyped it, and it's well ahead of this. Hold on. Where are we? This guy. 5 years ago, billionaire technology entrepreneur Masayoshi Son predicted that there would be a staggering 1 trillion Internet of Things devices operating in 2035. Lengthy lifespan of the vehicles, inventor of the Beta Light voltaic battery. That's that's basically what we're talking about. To danger minimized, origins in the 50s, new uses open up. Early prototypes of the Beta-Lite voltaic battery developed at the University of Bristol. The DNR's building a factory, and this is from May of last year, even from the old prototypes. So. Yeah, so the nuclear diamond batteries, NDBs, you're going to see that more and more. Just watch for it. Because they do work. They do function. They've already proven the concept, and making them, because you can synthesize the diamond part out of carbon, which, hey, if you're capturing carbon, there've been lots of talk about what do you do with it? When you capture carbon, what do you do with it? Well, they pump it into the earth. If you plant trees, that's carbon capture. But if they burn, it releases the carbon into the air. But you turn it into a diamond, it stays that way. So synthetic diamonds are one of the best uses of carbon capture that exist. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, beef. I got to go. You're right. I'm sorry. I love this stuff. So I just want to start you guys thinking about this and then get out of here. All right. I'm taking off. Point taken. Yes, you use nuclear waste, and the carbon-14 comes from that. There's other elements, thorium as well will work. Basically, anything that puts off a low-level radiation can be trapped and set off an electrical charge from the battery itself, from the diamond itself. So now you know, and knowing is 1/3 of the battle because of inflation. Okay. All right. I'm fine. I'm leaving. Thanks, Beef. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Thank you for being for subbing. Look at us at we're at 1018 of our 2,500 sub goal. It's very exciting. I'm overwhelmed. You guys are wonderful, and I will see you later. Don't forget patreon.com/HalSparks. You can also help via Venmo. Take a picture of that with your phone. Even if you're not on Venmo right now, maybe you will be one day, and you go, hey, you know what? He was funny. That was nice. That was smart. He turned out to be right 10 years ago. Here's $5. Yeah, any little bit helps. And if you can't afford anything, the best thing for me is that you don't even bother, and just know that me maybe making you laugh and making you worry a little bit less is good enough for me. Seriously. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow's show is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's an hour later because it's Thursday. Okay, bye. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, DC2257. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks, everybody, for subbing. All right, I'm gone. All right, I'm really leaving. Okay, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Bye.